Right, back in the workshop. Oh, where's he gone? Ah, it's there. I think we pretty much are going to end up doing this as a part 8. Part 7 was looking quite long. Sorry. Yeah. So, what's up with them ducks? I'll take this to the lake this morning to do an impromptu indexing of a bike. Let's get this back up again. There we go. You see all right. Let's stick you over here. So what have we got to do today? I did faff about with this yesterday. I'm still not convinced with these, to be honest. We'll leave it as it is. I did put some more of these clips on last night. I did actually find a way of doing it. They are too big. They are made out of the finest quality Chinese. So let me now take you out of the stand again. Oops. That's it. So, piece of board. Can you see that there? Clip. Roundy. Turn it over. And that ends up at about the size we need it. So, you know what? I have ordered some more. I've ordered some Jaguar ones instead of the Chinese ones. They're about 50 million times more expensive, but at least I know they're going to fit. But these are on, actually. They do seem quite good, actually, once they're on. So we'll call that a bit of a win. So I've got a couple of these to put on, which I won't. You don't need to see that, but they're around the other side. So I've just got to finish clipping that up. I'll finish that off. Get the rear brake clipped in, front brakes done. So all we've got to do now is put the rear dropper in. I might leave that actually. Front wheel needs to go on. I've got to put the brake pads in. We've got to true that up. We've got to get the chain on as well. So actually, because we've got the gears on, I might stick the chain on now. Yeah, we'll do that. Let me just stick these on. Right, if anybody's got any needle nose or long nose pliers they would like to donate to me, please feel free, because these are absolutely not very good. And the other ones I've got are made out of another piece of finest quality Chinese. I think they came from one of those cheap warehousey kind of shops. And I thought when I bought them, I thought they looked crap, but you know what? For the amount they were asking for them, but you can't actually go that wrong. But it turns out you can, because they are awful. The nose fell off them within the first attempt of using them, and they do not grip anything very well, as you can see. You'd expect them to be able to grip plastic. That's it. Some of these middle clips are an absolute nightmare. No, I said I wasn't going to bring you back for this, but I thought, do you know what? You can watch me struggle for 10 minutes because it's always entertaining. Yes. So I think the dropper post goes there. It goes there, and then it's got a big loop that goes down and up because it's got to travel. So. Got some more of these to do. A quick rub out again. Hopefully that should do it. Definitely my best Popeye face for this. There we go. The trick is with these is just to make sure they are actually going in the clips, because as long as they're fitting in the groove sideways, they're fine. You can see that's an original one. No, that's not. That's one I've cut as well. That's a little bit loose, that one. That's an original one. That's not. That's nice and tight. They do seem to pop out quite easy, which I'm a little bit worried about. But if they fall off, I've not lost them, because if I don't use them, I'm not using them anyway. So There's a kind of a logic there. I might as well use them and then fall out and replace them with the ones that are better, or not use them at all, and then they're just sat in a drawer and I'm not using them, and I might as well have lost them. Did you follow that? I don't think I explained it any better the second time, did I? Go on, you awkward one. Yeah, some of them are a little bit tight, shall we say. Yeah, maybe I didn't rub that one off as well as I should have done. Right, I think that's all of the bits of cable cabled up now. So all we've got to do is, I have ordered some frame savers for these, for those bits there. Sure, I didn't say stop recording. I might not have recorded the last 10 minutes when I was wobbling away. But anyway, so welcome back, part 8. Just in case, we'll do it again. The clips are on now, and we are going to do the chain next. Yeah, the chain next. So I need to swing it back round again. We'll stick the chain on, get the gears sorted out, and then all I need to worry about is we'll put the dropper in last, I think. I've still got to put the tangs on the end of these. Oh, I've not fastened that back up either. Let's bring it around and pointing at it. I undid that yesterday to reroute this off camera. So when we left it at the end of part 7, that was back on the other side. I ended up bringing it around this side because it just, you could see it wasn't going to work. I must have had it that way round. I was going to dig out a picture and check it, but it's there now. So that's where it's staying. Come on, you went in there, it must come out. That's it, back round. Why is this not fitting? It went in there without me undoing it. Right. Why does that keep moving? Why does that keep moving? Right. This will be a lot better once it gets the chain on, because it'll pull it down. Is the clutch on or off? That should be on. Yep, that's on. That should be off. Yep, that's off. Right then, let me go and dig out a chain for you, and I'll bring you back. Right. So, wrong with the so's again. Where can I stand you? I don't want to put you there, because you're going to get washed out by the light. You're going to have to stand there. Is it really that bad? No, it's not that bad. Got a bit of light flicker going on. I thought I was supposed to correct that. Anyway. So, there's several ways of doing this. I'm going to try a new way that I have been told about, but I've never actually tried it. So the way I normally do it is there is a gear position which I can never remember off the top of my head. I have to go and pull the manuals up, and I really can't be asked to do it. And you put it on one of the rings at the front. I think it might be the mid ring on the back or something. And the idea is that the jockey wheel is supposed to be vertical, or there's supposed to be a line between the axle through them. And but apparently there is an easier way to do this. So if you put your chain on the big ring at the back, the reason I like this is because you don't have to faff about with the flipping derailleur. Even though I'm still managed to get the chain in an absolute... How many of these have we done now on while we've been videoing them? Every single time. It doesn't matter what you do, and you get the chain sorted out, you get a whip. And all of a sudden it goes manky. Right, so I'm just going to check that these are the right way up. So there's either an arrow that indicates point of travel, or you always have the writing to the outside. So if it hasn't got writing on the other side, which it hasn't, the writing goes to the outside. So we will put it on the big ring, making sure that we don't drizzle the chain in the dirt on the floor, because that would be bad. Right. And then we realised that we haven't actually screwed up that yet. So we will grab the 5mm and stick that back in again. That one. Yep, that one. It's okay. That'll be why, it's because it slipped out at thing. Thinking, why is it not in the same place it was in before? Don't you dare! Right. Back to pulling out. Have I knocked the bolt out the other end of that? I bet I have. Why didn't you tell me I'd done that? Yep. That'll be what I heard fall out when I span the frame round. That's annoying. It's going to be one of those evenings. Now let me get my magnet. I found it. And it had dropped between the gap in the mats. There's no way I'd have found that other than 1 in a million chance. Do you know what? Then 1 in a million chances. I was going to swap it. I've got some nice shiny new stainless steel ones, but the sod's law says it will be an awkward size that only fits in that recess. It's a captured nut in the moulding. It's casing itself, so it's got to be exactly the right size. Probably is, but again, the law of sod. So don't really care if it's accurate or not at this point. We'll set the we'll set this up afterwards. All I need to do is just get it on the big ring to show you what we plan to do. So let's get that back up on the big ring again. Right, so big ring to big ring. Right, and then you bring them together. So that's where they would, so it's just tight, and then you drop back one. So we'll drop back one, so that puts us there. So we're tight, that's where we would be. That's the nearest point where it could do. Drop back to the next one that we can do that on, and that's there. I think that's right. Yep, that goes there. So we have to drop it all the way back to the next one that can drop on, which is that one. So that's that one there. And I'm going to cry if I cut it too short. I can't remember where I heard about this from. So I could have completely heard it wrong. I think it was somebody I'd talk bike with to a lot, and I said about I normally just eye it in and then have a gut feel as to whether I need to go forwards or backwards. So I normally just knock a bit off and then do the derailleur, is it in the right place in the right gear thing, and then decide whether that's right or wrong. So we'll see where we end up with that. So let's So in theory, if I wind that up there on the big one now, that's disturbingly tight. Not doing my usual trick and going in the wrong side again, am I? No, I was right. So in theory, it seems to be somewhere near. Yeah, do you know what? That's not that bad. I possibly would have had it. It's like, actually, no, we've got to move that on a link still. These are not easy things because of the clutch mechanism to. Come on. I think that wants. There's one adjusting down as well. Where's my screwdriver gone? Right. That's better. Yeah. That was orientated too far back. Alright, so let's see if we can just jump this up another link. That's it. Maybe another half a link. Come on, get your hands out of the way. Of course, I'm making this harder because I could just drop this down onto the. Oops. That's it now. Right. Somewhere we have the split link. God, we're faffing around again tonight, aren't we? Should have just stuck to the way I did it. But we like a bit of jeopardy. So we'll see in a minute whether this actually works or not. Right, now I've fallen for this one before. Well, I'll do it anyway. Oops. There's like two ridges. Once you go through the first ridge, it suddenly shoots through. And then you've got the second ridge, which is a double ridge because it's ridged as it goes through on both parts And you'll know when it goes, that's it, because it suddenly gets easier again. Right, and you'll have a stiff link. So the idea is then to slacken off a stiff link is you just give it a little tweak there, and it should slacken it off, maybe a little bit more. There we go. It's actually snupped off the other thing anyway. Right, that's fine. That's moving reasonably well. So take that out. The question is, will it go on the big ring? Sun's come out now, just to be awkward. So you probably won't be able to see anything now. You'll be completely washed out. Now I haven't tuned any of the gears up yet, so look at that. That's without any tuning. Right, big ring, big ring. There's still movement in that, so no, do you know what? I'd call that a win. It's a little bit tight because that jockey wheel seems to be a bit tight down the bottom there, but I'm not going to moan at that. Let's see if it goes down. Look at that. So that's with no tuning at all, just setting it up by the book. See if it crosses. It shouldn't cross anyway. Yep, that's all right. Right. Right, so we're going to put the I'm going to put the lock on now. See if it still runs okay. You know what, that's all right. I think if we had gone any, yeah, I think that's a good method for doing it. It's a lot easier. You ain't going to faff about with the thing, because I think if we'd gone any shorter, that would have been whipping back on itself anyway. So I'd call that a win myself. Cool. Right, we're back. Just had a little play with the jockey wheels just to find out what was up with them. If you remember, cast your way back when I was putting the blue on, and I had a bit of a moment with the blue, and it dribbled out and went all over. It had actually gone inside the bearing and glued the bearing up, so I've just had to clean it out a bit. So it's running okay now. That's nice and smooth again now. So I just popped the centre out, cleaned out all the blue because it just set a bit like super glue. So that's going great now. What you can see, the reason I brought you back is, so I remembered where it is. It's small ring at the front, big ring at the back, and they should be roughly about vertical. And if you see one, you know, it's not a million miles away. So actually, that's I'd call that a good setup. I can probably bring that round a bit more, or I can put a bit more tension on and move that back a bit, and then it would be more upright, because I did adjust that down, thinking it was going to be too loose because I couldn't pull the ends together. So I bet if I set that back to where it was, it's probably not a million miles away, to be honest. Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. So I can't remember if we've got the clutch on or not. There we have now. So stick some bobbles on there. I believe some came with the kit. If I can remember where I put the kit from yesterday. Yep, there we go. A couple of bubbles. So we'll get the bubbles on. Bubble. Bubble, bubble, bubble. Oops. Oops, sorry. I'm not very good at this. I keep walking in front of the camera all the time. It'd be no good on TV. It's unusual. Right. Put that on first. Put that on. Then you can hold that. Taking care not to cut through the spokes. They are actually quite tough. These are like stainless steel ones. They're not the usual shitty aluminium ones. Well, I say usual shitty aluminium ones. I bought some high quality ones. They weren't made out of Chinesium. They were actually a proper English made one. And that one seems to go on a bit better. Maybe it's just the way I was holding it. Let's try it again. I was just crushing it in the wrong place. No, that's fine. It's had a good squeeze anyway. It's not coming off. Yeah, I think I was right first time, you know, where I had that. That horrible grinding noise you can hear is the disc caliper catching on the thing. So let's just drop it down again. See where that leaves us. You know what? It's not a million miles off that being vertical. The wheel is down a bit, but if I let it off a bit more, it would it'd probably come back to us even more. That. There you go. That is even straighter. So what you can remember is you would never actually be riding on the big ring on the little thing at the back anyway. In theory you shouldn't. It tends to happen a bit more on a mountain bike. But you should never be riding in that position anyway. Because by the time you got to that position you should have dropped it on. You should have dropped it down anyway and knocked it down a couple of gears. Right, let's get the front wheel on. Shop pump, parts tray. Now, if you remember last time, I nicked a bucket for doing this. You probably won't get one of them in here. Oh, might do. There might be one in here. It looks like it might have a new locking nut. Oh yeah. Ooh, new locking nut. That means we've got a spare of that. No, that's a little bit mucky. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't give that a quick clean. He's still with us, yeah. Just in case you don't know, that's a Garmin speed sensor. In case you're looking at that thinking, what's that? But I guess if you didn't know what that is, you probably wouldn't be watching this channel, would you? Sometimes you just need a toothbrush. Actually, do you know what? It gets into all the nooks. I haven't cleaned this wheel anyway. You can tell by the rim it's just once I've got this on, I won't get to clean that anyway. And you know what? The first time I go out riding, it'll look exactly the same again, which is why I can't be bothered to clean bikes. Sorry, Wayne. Boom, jobs are good, ain't? So I'm supposed to do this up to 40 Newton meters. But the only problem I've got is the only tool I've got is that. And I have no way of doing it. So do you know what? I might order one. I might do that now. Ugh. I think I haven't got one of these. I'm pretty sure I haven't got one of these in my collection of interesting paraphernalia. You. You didn't see that. Total abuse. So the good thing about these is they are pinned. They're spined, sorry. So there is actually it's like a ratchet effect as it's going round. So that ain't coming undone. I am going to order one of them. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. Before we back. Boom, got. There you go. Probably just giving all my bank details now. But no, that's been long overdue. Every time I do this, I keep thinking, do you know what? I ought to have one of them. Especially with that. Oh, did I video that one? I think it was one of the early bikes I did. It was a full sus mountain bike that was the bottom bracket had absolutely disintegrated. I can't remember if I videoed that one or not. But yes, that was fun. That one. It's the first time I've ever had to heat a bottom bracket with a blowtorch to get the bottom bracket out, and even then I had to use the really big persuader bar on. What did I use it on? I can't remember. You know what? I bet I have got one of those tools after all. Because, no, it wasn't. No, I know why. It's because on that one you use something completely different. It was an internal spined one, and there was a socket on the end of it, so I was using a breaker bar. But I've had a few of these where I've struggled to get them out, so actually having one of those, and then I can torque these up properly instead of using the hand thing, which is probably all right. My grip is fairly good. Red grease. Right, red grease only to keep the muck off this and to help it slide in. And it doesn't need a lot, and you just want to smear it around, so. That feels fine. Seal bearings in there anyway, so they are not an issue. So we're just going to go and chuck this back on the bike. Walk this way. There's a song in there somewhere. I didn't like them bits anyway. So, contrary to popular opinion, they do not need to be tight because they do not actually hold the wheel in. What they do is they stop it from unspinning. So as long as there's enough tension on a through axle retainer to stop it from unspinning, you will be fine. If you over tighten them, you can damage the threads. They have very fine threads. And I'm just playing for time while I dig out all the pieces I dropped on the floor. Any more? We got more. Sure, there'll be some more. Can't believe I went down the gaps. Right, stop leaving shit in here. When you shut the doors to get past it and knock it all over the floor. Right, well, actually, bike will probably want shifting over that way a bit now. Just move you out of the way. Do a bike move. Oh, that's it. There's a escapee socket as well, just for good measure. Right, so now all we've got to do is put the brake pads in. We're better off moving the bike round for that, probably. One thing I've got to do as well, I've got to make sure the back wheel's seated properly. Because I did take the back wheel off. Yeah, there was a little bit of a drop there. Just nip that up a little bit. Right, spin around. She starts to look a bit more like a bike again now. So let's move this back this way. I can see all my fancy cabling now. Right. Let me go and grab some brake pads and I'll bring you to show you this. I'm going to give them a wipe down. I'm pretty sure they're going to be clean. It's not like motorbike and car parts where they send you them with a whole load of grease over. These are stainless steel rotors, I think, or they're some similar alloy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the pads. So this is just normal industrial car brake clutch degreaser cleaner. That's a special bottle that is not that resists this kind of stuff. So what are we going to do? And the back brakes. We're still there. Sorry, I was miles away over there. So a couple of brake pads, just in case they've got contaminated. They shouldn't have been. Bit of brake cleaner on there. All we're going to do is just take the surface off. Something nice and flat. And you can see that's brought them back. So if you compare that to that, they look like they did out of the packet. That's taken the scoring off. So same again, degreaser, that'll drive the grease out. Nice flat surface. Look at that, completely looks like a brand new brake pad, and you can see as it dries out, it's pulled all the grease out. So they look like brand new now. So we can stick these in. Which one should we do first? Back brake or front brake? These have got more meat on them, so I'm inclined to stick these on the back brakes. I know I ride motorbikes, so I do tend to brake a lot more with my front brake than most cyclists do. But where was I? Yeah, so yeah, battery went flat. It always does when I'm making an interesting, well, I think they're interesting. You're probably going, oh, shut the up, you. Actually, these, I should be able to put these in from the top. If these are loose, I do remember these are top loaders. So in theory, I should be able to shove them through from the top. We all thought did, don't we? It's whether or not. No, they're the wrong way around because it's supposed to be left and right. So I'm pretty sure that I was going down the wrong side with that one then. Yep, they fit perfect. It's just whether or not that centerpiece is in the way. Now then, I've got some of these here. I think they are the proper ones, but there's something always bugged me about these, that they're using these, and I think it's kind of prone to a bit of movement, so I'm going to try something. We're back. Right, so what my idea was, I have a box full of stainless steel screws, but unfortunately for the size I need to go through the hole, I don't have one that fits. What I do have though is a load of these. Now I think they are too big, so they're motorbike ones for the thing, so they won't fit either. So I think we're just going to have to go back with the originals. So I think these are the originals. They are slightly beefier than the other ones. So I think the general idea is it's easier to come from what I remember, to come from the back and feed them through. Assuming you can get them in. And obviously I'm working blind. Come on. I think I need to squash that one a bit more. Let's try this one. This one might be a little bit more compliant. I don't even think I'm hitting the hole. Or I could just go around the other side. Let's just go around the other side. Come on, get your fat butt through there. And I said you can actually do these with them in. Yeah, I think I was probably lying. Well, that won't go through before. That went straight through. There you go. So that's one in. With some horrible long nose pliers. I think the idea with these is if you bend them down, they can't spin anyway. I'm always just a bit disturbed about what they're doing to my paintwork on the calipers. So I'll try and bend it out of the way. Right. Well, they seem reasonably good. Right. Right. If it's not right, I'm sewing or writing. Right, that's straight. Right. Of course, I've put the thing down I need. Right, so the trick with these is, and it's not an absolute science this, but you want to get these so they're almost snugged up, so there's still a bit of play, but not so you've got to wind it half a mile in while you're trying to hold on to the brake cable. That's still a bit of movement. No, off a bit, that's it. Right, back that off. Right, that's moving. So just pump it up and prime it up a bit. What we're looking for is getting it so it's about right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to just gently tighten this up so it doesn't move the caliper, and then we'll do it again about another 40 times until we get it so it doesn't move the caliper. And what we're looking for is when we release the brakes, we're getting an even, and it's not making that funny noise. Because that kind of implies that the brake disc is warped, and it shouldn't be because they're brand new brake discs. So slacken it off again. Just tweak it up a little bit at a time so it doesn't shift the... That's a lot better now. And they are starting to come back to me. There's a lot of yeah, they are starting to come back now. You can see they are moving evenly as well, which is what you're after, really. Right, so there is a method for doing this, but we're going to adopt the cheats method. So we're just going to give that a little tweak. So I could have made that worse because it could have been... Right, so it's possibly that way we needed to take it. No, that's not bad, that. Quite pleased with that. Front brake, if this one's any easier. It does seem to be easier to see what I'm doing because it's lower down. Yep, they've gone straight in. Look at that. Why can't the other ones go in like that? It's already grounded like a good one now. Right. That went a bit easier, didn't it? Could you see that? Were you looking over there? You were eyeing up them BMXs, weren't you? Keep your eyes off my BMXs. I am going to be selling one of them. Right, let's see how that goes. Before we do anything else, let's pump this one up because I didn't pump it up the other one, and that's what's causing a lot of the problems. Oh dear, we have no pressure. Oh, it's starting to come back. Can you see all this? Would it help if I pointed you downwards? So I've pushed the pistons right the way out, so now it's gradually inching the pistons back in again, but probably because of the way they've been stored. There's just a massive airlock at the top, so it's gradually coming back to me. It's coming away from the handlebar now, but this is essentially what I was feeling before. Every time I took the bike out, the brakes were nearly all the way to the hand grip. Yeah, it's coming back now. It's nearly there. That's it. So the idea is you try and do it slowly. Give it a chance to catch up. Oh, grindy, grindy. So let me just tip that so you can see what's going on. So same thing again. That's so it's loose. This bottom one's, oh, that bottom one's very loose. It felt like it wasn't loose. It's not a million miles away. Right, so that's actually centered itself pretty nicely. So what we're going to do now is just nip it up. Just being careful that we don't shift the caliper, or we're going to have to start all over again. And this is why I don't like these cup things, because I swear these cause more problems than they fix on these. I'll take that. That is a happy bunny. Like I said, we'll run these pads off, and then the next pads I'll buy some resin pads, and hopefully we can get them. I've had a look, you can't get these vented pads at the moment in resin for love and the money. I guess because everybody else is doing the same as what I'm doing, getting the bike back on the road again. Oh, bail out. Why has that done that? I don't think I've ever shot this over the top once. That's odd. Maybe it's because the bike's at a funny angle. There we are. I've got slack. Might be able to see where that's catching now on the back, which side it's going to. You know, it might not be the. Don't know. Right, so it's this one that's going that way. Too far. There you go, fixed it. Oh, you weren't even watching. So I actually managed to catch it, feathering the brake slightly so I could see which brake pad it was moving as it went through. And you could see it was actually quite a long plane on going that way. So I just put the things behind it and just nudged it very slightly, and it's now, so we fixed it. Perfect. What have we got left to do now then? I think we're pretty much there. We've just got to put the dropper on and set up the handle, the controls. So I can't sit on it until I've got the saddle on. So do you know what? Let's get the saddle on. Boom. So we are going to need some assembly lube for this, because that is a carbon hole. There's a carbon hole that is absolutely full of crap. Right, so make sure that that's actually in a place where it's going to do it. Now for this one, I'm going to do what I don't normally do. I'm actually going to put it in the frame first, because I have had some problems with this one. It does tend to go walkabouts. So if I shove more down, I'm not so bothered. You see all the crap I'm bringing out now. Right, so you can see that. So you can see all the grit and stuff that's in there. That is exactly what assembly lube is. Now just be careful what you put in. You wipe your finger on, because what you don't want to do is get your assembly lube all over your rags that you use to wipe the frame down. Otherwise, it's all going to end in tears. Right, so the reverb goes to the front, the RockShox logo, and we used to have a mark on it. I could have sworn we had a mark on it. That might be it. Yep, there it is. There is a mark. So there is a mark on it, but it's pretty much on the RockShox logo. So it's actually quite easy to eye this up without the saddling. And on the RockShox logo, wang it round. That feels like it could actually go in a tab. Oh no, you don't. Sit. No, that's not the one. Yep, the law of sod's at it again, and the one Allen key I need is the one that's not anywhere to be seen. It's back on the bench. That's better. That feels a lot better. Yeah, it's been a bit of an issue for a while. That it has a habit of going south on me. So that's going to go in the. So how's that work then? I have put it in the wrong way round. Why didn't you tell me? Like I say, I could have sworn the mark I made was at the front. That's it. Right, so yeah. Ideally, we would have remembered to put that over, but what I'll do is I'll put a new tie wrap on for that one. So that's going to go up there, through there somewhere, and it sits somewhere like that, if I remember. Oh, come on, pay attention. Somewhere like that. I think you can put it on that side as well and have it so it's underneath, but I could never get it to work with the with these without having it right on the other side. So I've found it's better to have it up there, and I think on the new ones it's up there anyway. So I can't remember what website it was on. Everywhere seemed to have it on that side, but it just didn't work for the setup on this bike. So we'll stick that in there, and we'll lose the Allen key that we need again. So I'm pretty sure it's that one. No, it's not. That surprised me. It's this one. No, it's not. It's neither. It's a Torx. probably the one Torx I wasn't going to pick up. So this is the one I wasn't going to pick up because I thought that's too big. So it's that one. Right, so I'm just going to nip that up. We're not going to tighten it up fully because I want to be able to slide it around. Right, so we'll stick the saddle on now. That's pretty much pointing where I want it to point. Oh, you're in the way. Mate. So, saddle time. It's right up there, just where I don't want it. So it's got some little arrows on that point to the front. And they're all the nuts and everything that I don't want to lose or drop on the floor. We've lost a screw already. I bet it's stuck to the bottom of this magnetic tray. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, so that's going to go on there. Something like that. Might be easier to assemble it here. That goes to the front as well. There's another little arrow on there. Right, and then that bobble goes through there. And that bobble goes through there. What we'll do is we'll get one of these in first and then feed the other one in, and then hopefully that'll be a little bit easier. The trick is with this is not to knock the bobble out with my finger. Oh, come on. Do recall this as a right fiddly faff. Oh, I think we've got a Vita. This is where I find out I've got two different lengths of screw as well. Yeah, I think they're the same. Flipping hair in mouth again. Time for a haircut. Of course, all the spinny things are now spinning around because that's really helpful. I think I'm going to have to redo the bike fit on this. I can't see any witness marks on the saddle where that was, and it's been on a different bike as well. I'm guessing it's about there, looking at the state of it, but we will have to do another bike fit. But for me to do the handle grips, the brake levers, I don't need this doing much more than that. Right, now what we do need to do is drop it down now, because I'm not even close if I don't get this level. So what you're looking for is attention that saddle's level, and that's nowhere near level. So can you see over the shot there? There's another clip down there. Right, so this has got quite a lot to come off the back. So with these, actually, they're quite easy to level. Some of them are an absolute pain. So you can hold that down. We'll jiggle that around a bit more. Right, so that is nowhere near level. Now let's go the other way. Right, so that's roughly level. So what we'll do now is just tighten it up with this one, and then what will happen is this will pull it a bit further down. So then you slacken that off a bit more, and you pull up this one a bit more, and then eventually it'll get it level. and that's about right, I think. Again, don't over tighten them, because all you're going to do is just damage the mountings. Tighten it up until it doesn't move, and if it moves when you're using it, then tighten it up a bit more. Don't think that's a million miles away. So what I'm after now is whatever size that is, which I think is one of these. So what we'll do is we'll just slacken these off. Oh, this is where I knocked the camera over. Oh boy. Right, so they want to come up a little bit. What I'll do when I do the bike fit is I'll be sat on the saddle, but I know if I go up, I'm not a million miles away from where I'd be normally riding. So that feels about right. So it's whether or not I've got them in the same plane. They feel about right. I can always adjust them more accurately later. Sometimes I move the grips in a bit as well, because there's sometimes when you're riding, you're catching your fingers on the edge of them, and you don't want to be doing that. So I suspect they want to go down a bit further. Now all I've got to do now is just wangle that in. So I think the problem I have with this is to get, yeah, you can't, I don't think you can get the, you might just be able to. Right, so what I'm looking to do is wriggle that up there. That won't do up now because the thing is in the way. So I then have to, I seem to remember I have to undo that, swing that round until I can see the screw, and then do it up. So if we undo that one, I think if I do that, you can another reason why these are flipping awkward. Right, so that's now swung round. That's where it needs to be roughly. It probably would be better turned over a bit more, but it ain't going, I don't think. Oh, I might be able to get, actually, I might be able to get it through there. Can I get it through there? Oh yes, gotcha. Right, let's just tilted it down a bit more. That makes it slightly easier to get my thumb up there. Nope. Now it's moved the brake lever too far. I didn't want to do this yet. I was going to do the bike fit later. That should do it. The thing is, it doesn't need to be that tight anyway, because it can't actually go anywhere. Because the that's okay. Probably wants to go down a little bit more. I'll just adjust them up later. It feels about right. Right then, so we'll do the cheats way and hang it on the saddle. You shouldn't really do this because it will damage your saddle. But we're only going to be here for a minute. So we just got to put these clips in here and then slide them down because there's got to be enough for that, and then that bit goes up and down there. He says, well, he looks for a black tie. Let's not open a new bag. Let's use an old bag. Do you know what? I bet there's one there, isn't there? Look at that, it's exactly the same. Well, I never. I seem to remember this took a lot of faffing around to get it in the right place that worked. So the trick is just to start low. Because at least that way you can move it up and down there. If you start higher when it's narrower, it doesn't work as well. You're not going to you can't take back your thing. Right, 2 clips, so one on the floor. Have that one, and that one. Where's my bit of sandpaper? You need to stand there. Can you hear me? Should have stopped recording. You know, any other time that would have actually stopped recording. And again. Come on. Do you know, the other ones went on brilliantly, and now you'll just be flipping all. Oh, it doesn't help. We've got a lump of flipping old tie wrap in there. It dropped out. Doesn't want to go. Yeah, some of these are a little bit tight. So I've got another one. So that went on okay. I did that one eventually. Right, so the trick is to get a nice bow on that, and then when you press it down, it should, he says, so what you're watching for is what that cable's doing there. Right, let's get some welly on it this time. Right, that's okay. The only problem is it's tilting out slightly. You do tend to get this problem when it first goes on. That's okay. My foot's not going to catch that. I seem to remember it's like that and like that in the past anyway. It's nothing down there that's throwing it out. It's just the way it is. There you go. I think What about there? How's that then? Part 8 or whatever it is. There she is in all her glory. Tango back together. Like I said, I've got a bike fit to do on it. I'll give it a test run. I'm pleased I've got rid of all them stupid tie wraps I had all over it. I've got to cut the tie wrap off there. Shouldn't really be using these for this, but you know what? Oh, that's left a right nasty. I'll get that later. That's just crying out to get my fingers. That is, and take a massive chunk out of them as only it can. What you want to do is just take it off, so that's it. So it's not a point. You see that now. Anyway, there she is. Tango back together. Looking rather splendid, the old girl. So we've just got to buff up that bit of fill I did there. That looks a bit of a mess, but it's better than the big hole that I had there before. Still got the lizard skin to put on. That's in the house. It's been washed. And then we've got this little project we're going to do with the wheels. But that's for another day. I want to make sure the bike's running first before I faff around with anything else. So that's that seems to be going all right. So I'm quite happy with that. That back freewheel hub that I rebuilt seems to be okay. Brakes done. Cable's done. Dropper's been refurbished. No play in that now. You could wang that from side to side and forwards and backwards. So I'm pleased I've recovered that. Shockers, I haven't had to do anything with them. We'll probably look at them next year if I'm feeling brave again, because they scare the bejesus out of me doing Fox ones. I have done them twice. Before you say you can't do them, I have done them twice. Getting the parts is the hard bit. So what I'll do is I'll take my time and I'll sort out the service kit for it at a price I want to pay and not the price they want to charge me. Seat post has got all its gas in it. I'll probably check the gas on the front forks as well, because I haven't checked them for a while. So that's a similar thing. The gas is in there. About 80, 90 for me, PSI. And that's it. Right, we'll call it a day. Finally, we've finished Tango, so I can go out for a ride on it. She does look rather splendid, doesn't she? Yeah, I need to get some T-cut on that, clean that up there where I've done that, because I think that'll come back all right. I mean, it's going to look lumpy because I've filled it, and it's a small piece of filling. I couldn't sand around it, so it is what it is. There's no way I could have done a better job without damaging that sticker. And I'll be honest, I looked at having it redone and repainted exactly the same, and it's nearly £1,000. And I could just go and buy a titanium frame and then be done with it and bin it, and save myself a lot of hassle. For £1,500, I could have bought a similar spec titanium Planet X on one bike. So, but it wouldn't have been this one. I've still got some heli tape to put on in places, but you don't need to see that. So, no, I'm quite pleased with that. I do seem to remember we had these tie wrapped at one point to try and fix some of this that was going on, or I had one of those combination clips. I think I might have had a tie wrap round there, to be honest. But anyway, we'll have a play with it. We'll tune it up as we go. Right, as I said, thank you for joining me once again. It's been a bit of a mission. I've tried to do quite a lot for this one, so you see everything, whereas I cut some bits out of other ones. And it's not, it's pretty much we've had to touch everything on this bike. I've not cleaned it. I've not detailed it. The wheels still need cleaning. But like I said, I've got a project for them. We've not done the forks. I guess at some point we'll dive into the BMXs over there. Hopefully this isn't going to crap out like it did last time. And that's about it. That's it. There's nothing else in the workshop. So if you've got anything that wants fixing, preferably something with an engine that's scooterish or motorbike-ish, or strimmers, generators. I do like a generator. I have actually got a generator in here somewhere that does need a service before the winter. I can't actually see it. I don't know where it's gone. I've not lost it. Yes, you can lose a generator. No, I've absolutely no idea where that's gone. Anyway, right, like and subscribe. trying to grow the channel, so every little bit does help. Tell your mates that there's this daft Yorkshire bloke pissing about with bikes. You know, you might learn something useful, you might not. You still know how to not do it right anyway. So we'll call that a wrap. Thank you very much. Job's a good one.